Well, this is MEZA Grand Duchess Rasmusconian, flowers and feathers, fluffs and tufts. Well, there was a little incident. Again, just like Korea. I'm not going to say it, but you all know, what I said happened in Korea to me. And then you can very well tell it happened in Bethesda, Maryland, too. But darling, I ain't want to gossip. I just brought the problem home. The problem that was not mine. The problem that good and decent people face. Trying to be happy and living a constitutional American life. What more can we say if we grab our purses every day and we load it from our own sweat and it's heavy? Aren't we entitled to it? But I'm not going to say that one. You can thank Mr. Obama for Bethesda also, darling. All of you and your families. Because you know, darling, when people lie, they light a fuse or they darken the embers. And so, darling, if you darken the embers, there is resolve. But if you light a fuse in your fire, it never goes out until someone says, darling, you have run out of you know what. Anyway, darling, the grand old party, I am giving you T. Donald Trump says he's going to fight ISIS. Negative, Donald Trump. You don't need to be fighting wars. Take the European pattern. You are the leader. You are being misinformed. ISIS, the commander of ISIS is Obama. Forgot he lived in Cuba. He lived in Hawaii, Philippines, Indonesia, all the Muslim strongholds, darling. Quote unquote, because there is a disagreement with Muslim and religion in Obama. But let's not get there, darling. He lived in Russia, best kept secret. And his look willing is also Russia, Pakistan, and Afghanistan before he came to America. Before he dragged up, darling. So now one of his is the commandant and the other one is the... And darling, between which one of them, the Jamaicans have this saying, Jack Mandura, darling, I don't choose any of them. Anyway, if I was Donald Trump, I would not fight ISIS. ISIS is Obama. You know how much $1 trillion he goes to funding ISIS, that when he leaves America, he'll be right there in the pocket, darling. Do not do that. As I said, I don't support Hillary Clinton either. The thing is that when Obama gets out of office and they rig the election, threat. When they rig the election, right? When they rig the election, Mr. Obama, right? When they rig the election and Hillary wins, Mr. Obama wants to use Afghanistan to get to the North Koreans. Remember Kim Jong-il, who they all hated, propaganda. You choose Kim Jong-un because he was so unlike. Jong-un, childlike family man, welcome and inviting. Why shouldn't he seek to protect himself? Why wouldn't anyone want peace? I mean, God knows the Korean had 60 years of a terrible war. Why would you want to plunge another generation into war? That's misbelief. Good. So therefore, darling, if you vote for Hillary Clinton, you're voting for a war. You're voting for another disruption of society. You're voting that you are the most hostile, indecent kind of people without integrity and values. We all know that with the Democrats, integrity and values. I have one yet to prove it to me. I can tell you a story about Chris Van Hollen. Okay, darling? And you would not re-elect him. If I told you the story in Bethesda, Maryland, you would be shocked, very shocked. And you would say, is that a senator or a congressman? You would be shocked, darling. And those are all Democrats. I just say, I said, I don't personally like Donald Trump, but I think for the grand old party, Donald Trump is it. Donald Trump, out of this madness, military slavery, and it's not even that it's military, it's that it has no focus and it overspills and contaminates the regular society with their ills. Remember, that section of society cannot be prosecuted and cannot and do not bear responsibility. It has yet to be proven to me. And so therefore, there are some things that happen in society that we cannot account for and that other people take the blame for. And when he says they must follow orders, we must follow such orders from the president. We must. Anyway, darling, moving on. The grand old party. Let's get the job done. Let's get out of the slavery that the Obamas have enforced, the Democrats and the Obamas have forced on us, that we are not entitled to our own hard work, sweat, and tears. Then they will say that you don't deserve it. Your children do not do math. They're not heavy in science, and so they are not obligated for you to be entitled because this is a nuclear society. So they want the Pakistani children, which is good. They know math and science and so forth. But that will be their argument. Since your children cannot learn math and science and so forth, and they have to import the talent, why should they waste where they need the skill and the culture? Anyway, darling, my life past is irreconciled. Therefore, it's not a matter of being frothy and stuffy. It's a matter of the desperation of having what I could have, but what I didn't earn. It is the appreciation of grabbing my focus and understanding my reality, and that I earned that reality, and I earned everything that I worked for by the sweat of my tears, and the blood from my arms and eyes. How dare somebody take such an indecency and say I am a part of something that they're building internationally to starve and maim and lame. It would always be a thing where you never listen to me, and maybe rightly so. But then maybe one day, when you look out the window, you will not see that child that you have put so much trust in to do what they have done. You placed all this trust, you have the confidence, and you look out the window and you see Chris Van Hollen just swinging a sign that someone else's child, some other Masonic child did it. And you will sit to wonder, well, my child must have been really horrible. But think to yourself, your child was a victim of them. So let's vote for the grand old party. He's the Grand Duchess Rasmus Coonan, College Park, Maryland. Have a good evening.